What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon. MLB DFS video. It is Friday. It is August 30th. We are back with another video for you. A full 15 games on this slate. We're going to look at everything. So if you're new to the channel, you might notice the videos are a little bit longer. We go through a lot. So we're going to go through the pitchers. We're going to go through the batters. We're going to show you as much as we possibly can. So as you can see on the screen, we've already got NFL content rolling in for week one. We are, less than a week away. We are 6 days away from it. We are still going to bring you content. We're still going to bring you MLB content as well. All of the links to all of our social media, our Discord, the article, everything is down below here. So go check that out. Our sponsor is Outlier.bet. If you sign up down below with our link, you sign up, go through a 7-day free trial, pay the $20 for the regular package. We're going to give you a free month as long as you show proof that you used our link to sign up. If you go for the pro package, we're going to give you 3 months free, which is a $90 value. But better than that, we have giveaways every single video. 2 giveaways. So I have 4 more passes to Outlier.bet for a free month. On top of that, if this video gets at least 50 likes, you leave a comment, and you are a YouTube subscriber, we are going to give you have a chance to win a free week of FTA+. 100 likes on this video, a chance at a free month. 150 likes, a chance at a free $200 a year. 200 or more likes on this video, a chance at a $500 lifetime pass. So we're going to have 2 giveaways. The first one will be because of our last video ended up getting 61 likes. So this will be a free week to someone right now, and you can win every single day. You can win back to back. So even if it's got the key phrase from the other day, the winner is Anthony Range 6126. Now congratulations, Anthony. You win a free week of FTA+. If you have not already signed up yet, regardless if you have, email me dfshelp1@gmail.com. That's dfshelp the number 1@gmail.com, and give me your username and email you would like on the site if you have not signed up. If you've already signed up, send me an email with the subject line just saying daily winner 829 or 830 and your username on the site. So just let me know. Once you get that, we will get you guys, at least you right now, signed up for your free week. Now, since you had the keyword in here, I'm going to re-roll this. You may actually win again, and this will be for a free month of Outlier.bet. Now, we'll see who the winner is first. Marine 1013, congratulations. Please email me. Say you're the keyword winner or the monthly outlier winner, and we will get you set up. So all you'll need to do is just let me know, and then I'll give you instructions how to sign up. Once you've got signed up on the website, we are going to give away a free pass for 1 month free for you. So congratulations, both of you. We have 4 more coupon codes left for Outlier for a month, and we will continue to do the Fantasy Team Advisors giveaway every single day. So we are going to look at everything that Outlier has to offer. We're going to use them on the site. So if you guys are interested, definitely make sure to check this out. We are going to go through every single game that we have. Now, we are waiting on a couple of pitchers that are not. We think we know who's going to be the pitcher because it would follow the order of when they need to be. But, you never know, just because we're getting part of the season where some people are sitting, and it's kind of annoying. But we're going to persevere. We're going to move through it. So looking at the early slate, we've got a 5-game early turbo slate here on DraftKings. 3 of the 5 games have weather concerns, but we're still going to go through them. We're going to look at them if anything. If anything happens, we're good to go there. I'm not going to do pitches be crazy at the end of this video just because we are missing a couple of pitchers that are not guaranteed to start yet, and I don't want to give you guys wrong information. So we will put the pitches be crazy into the Discord down below. We'll also give you guys core plays there as well, and we'll go from there. So first game on the slate, Milwaukee at Cincinnati is what we're going to take a look at here. So taking a little gander at this game, Cincinnati, Milwaukee. Now, it looks like it's going to be DL Hall. He's a candidate to either be a start a bulk reliever in the second game. So they're having a doubleheader. So this is the problem. We don't know who's going to be in this game because this is the second game of a doubleheader. We don't know if DL Hall is going to either start or be a bulk reliever here. So we kind of don't know anything. And he's a left-handed pitcher. He did face Cincy his last start back on August 11th, and then he got sent back down. That was at home. Now this is in Cincinnati. Since we don't know if he's going to be the actual bulk reliever, if he's going to be in there or not, it's really hard to take a look at some of these batters. Obviously, you look at Ellie De La Cruz for Cincy. You would look at Spencer Steer, Will Benson, Stevenson. Like, you would look at these bats. I'm not 100% sure yet. And then Lauder coming in. He should be called up to start this game. Don't know much about him. Just made his AAA debut past Thursday. The Reds will expedite the right-handers relief. So arrival. Additional turns to the rotation in September. So we don't know what's going to happen here yet. The problem is, it's the second game of a doubleheader. You don't know which lineup is going to be out there. So with Milwaukee, if we are looking at Lauder coming in and we are looking at some of the bats, like I love William Contreras, but he's not going to play both games. So if he doesn't play the first game, he will play the second game. I love Willie Adames, Rhys Hoskins, Churio. This is where we can't really break down this game until we see what happened with the first game. So kind of pay attention to that and do not get screwed over with taking some players that maybe they play the first game, they're not going to play the second game. So as much as I would like to dig in a little bit more to this game, it is very hard. This is Great American Small Park, and there's weather concern, and it's a doubleheader. A lot of things, a lot of motion things right now. It's kind of hard to go through this game. So a little synopsis there, but not a ton to go off of because we just don't know. Then we got Boston at Detroit. Tanner Houck going against Detroit, 3.23 ERA. Coming off a terrible start against Arizona, minus 1.7. Did have a good game against Houston at 20.1, and then really hasn't done much lately. Splits-wise, he's already faced Detroit once this year. Actually did really well. 7 innings, 1 earned run, 6 Ks in that game. But that game came back, let's see, towards the beginning, May 31st, when he was having a good run of games. And, he was up. He's about 1,000 cheaper than he was back then when he was having a good game. Then they believe it's going to be Casey Mize. We don't know if it's official. He should be lined up to start Friday versus the Red Sox. Now, him being here, he has not pitched since the 30th of June. Had a couple of good games there. His price has gone down. Boston strikes out the third most out of any team overall. So if we were to look at Casey Mize, if he wasn't in any pitch count situation, which I bet he is, I would look at Casey Mize. Probably not tournaments because he is still 7,000, but maybe if you are looking at some sports bets, if he is considered the starter and we are looking at an over-under of, let's say, over 5.5 strikeouts, so to get at least 6 strikeouts, I do not mind that for him. Again, it's not 100% confirmed that he's coming off the L, and it's not 100% confirmed if he's going to be in there long term. But that being said, if you're going to fade both of these bats or both of these pitchers and you want to go with bats in this one, we absolutely can go with bats in this one. Now, Casey Mize coming in, he struggled this year, but he's had some good games, but he has struggled this year. So if we were to look at Detroit bats against Houck, no one's really hit a home run. No one's had success. But then we look at the bats that have had success. Now, this is outlier. This is what I love. If you're doing sports bets, you can look right here. You go into the game itself, and you can, if you got a favorite game you want to look at, you want to look at the batter stats, BVP. Then you've got batter splits versus right-handed and left-handed pitching. Then the starting pitching, the insights, the props, the team props, the game props, and the player props, all in one right here. And you can see the money lines, run lines, total over-unders, and everything like that. Run lines, try bets, and total over-under. So if you want to look at this, this is why we love Outlier. This is why we have partnered up with them here on YouTube. And this is why we are trying to get you guys to check them out specifically for the insights. NFL, MLB, WNBA. We've got NFL in 6 days. We are very, very excited for it. So just looking at Detroit bats that have had success against right-handed pitching, overall, they usually hit lefties better. But you can kind of look at, these are the batters that I would look at if we are fading Houck today. Kerry Carpenter batting .316 with 13 bombs. Got Riley Green batting .278 with 15 bombs. Matt Vierling batting .250 with 12 home runs. I like Colt Keith, 252 batting average, 11 home runs. Jake Rogers does do better against right-handed pitching, only batting .211, but has 9 bombs. That's what I would look at there. Now, it isn't guaranteed to be Casey Mize yet, but if it were to be, and you want to fade Casey Mize, which I'm probably going to, outside of if his over-under line of strikeouts is like 4.5 to 5.5, I'm okay there. I would still look at these bats. I would look at Connor Wong, batting .283 with 11 bombs on the year. Obviously, Devers is another one that I would look at. Jaron Duran has been absolutely on fire this year. Yoshida is another one I'd look at. Tyler O'Neill has 24 bombs. I am looking at, stacking some sort of Red Sox bats. Let's just make sure it is Casey Mize. If it is a right-handed batter, those are the batters, or right-handed pitcher, those are the batters that I would look at in this game. I'm more so looking at Boston as a stack outside of looking at Detroit as a stack. Atlanta at Philly, we got Ranger Suarez versus Reynaldo Lopez. So Lopez did not factor into the decision on Sunday, but he's had back-to-back really good starts. He just faced this Philly team 2 starts ago, went 5 innings, had 10 strikeouts in that game. Now, I'm not saying he's going to do the exact same thing, but he's had 2 starts, 11 innings pitched, 6 innings in one game with 6 strikeouts, 5 innings in one game with 10 strikeouts in that game. Now, we were a little bit weary using him in that game last a few starts ago, just because, we didn't know what he was going to do. He left hurt, and we didn't know how he was going to be after almost a month off. Came through. He's had 2 really good starts. He's had success against Philly. They have not hit him. For whatever reason, they have not hit him. And then Ranger Suarez coming in against Atlanta. Just looking at this, his last game he did well against Kansas City, but he struggled outside of that. He's 9,100. He's going up against Atlanta, who he's faced twice this year. 10 innings pitched, 8 earned runs, does have 14 Ks. But again, Atlanta loves to hit lefties, and that's kind of what I'm looking at here. I would take Reynaldo Lopez over Ranger Suarez, and I would look at the Braves bats over looking at Philly today. So just looking at Braves bats against Suarez, you've got Adam Duvall with 2 bombs, did not play on Thursday. Could see him in here as a cheap outfield option. Jorge Soler against him, 273 batting average, 2 home runs. Ozuna has a home run as well. And then you just look at the other batters that had success. Like, we love to take Travis d'Arnaud against lefties. Batting .281 with 6 bombs. Ozuna has 5 bombs, batting .316. Matt Olson bats better against lefties, lefty-on-lefty matchup this year. .254 batting average with 7 bombs there. Laureano would be another cheap option in the outfield. .319 batting average, 5 bombs. So it just depends. But in this game, I would rather take Atlanta bats and Reynaldo Lopez over Philly bats and Ranger Suarez today. Then we got Chicago at the Whites, or at Washington. You got Amanaga versus Jake Irvin. So Amanaga coming in 3.08 ERA, coming off back-to-back 18-plus fantasy points. Then had a stinker here against Cleveland, and then a really good game against Minnesota. Now, Washington, he has not faced them. So that's that. But they have some really good hitters that can hit lefties. We saw that against Rodon. We saw some of them hit against Garrett Cole. We saw some of that. Amanaga at his price, we need 20-plus fantasy points out of him. When he's on the road, he does have a better ERA, so I'm okay with that. Amanaga for tournaments, I'm okay with that. Jake Irvin, same thing, 380 batting average. At home, though, he's got a 4.14 ERA. Has not faced the Cubs this year. Really hasn't done much lately. The strikeouts have been a little bit lower there. Like, his price, he has not hit value since July 21st. And then before that, it was July 4th. So he's hit value twice in his last 10 starts. I'm out on him. The way the Cubs have been hitting, I'm just out on him right now. I'm probably looking towards the bats more so than the pitching in this game. I think a lot of people are going to be on Amanaga, so Washington bats against him, against lefties. I'm looking at C.J. Abrams. I'm looking at Chaparro. Dylan Cruz coming in. I like him. James Wood. I like him. Jacob Young, even at the 9-hole, Jacob Young has been hitting very well. Saw him hit very well against the Yankees from the 9-hole. I would be looking at those guys. Luis Garcia is also another one, but he's kind of expensive for me if I'm going in that direction. Cubs bats against Jake Irvin that I would look at. Now, you can see all the green means they hit better against righties. And you can see there's only 2 batters in this lineup that hit better against righties than lefties. And then if you look at their build-out, No, I mean 250 here, and that's basically it. No one else is batting over 250 against right-handed pitching. So this is what I'm talking about. Jake Irvin hasn't had some good games, but the Cubs, they've been hitting well. They just do not hit righties well. It'll just depend on how long Jake Irvin stays in this game. If he could go 6+ innings, 6+ strikeouts at his price, I love Jake Irvin there. You're going to save a little bit of money off of Amanaga there. In this instance, as long as nothing changes, I do not mind Jake Irvin as a pitcher. I'm not really looking at the Cubs bats right now. Now, towards the end of this video, we'll give you the top 10, or we'll give you all the batters that have a 10 out of 10 matchup rating through the first few early simulations. If anything changes during the day, if the weather does go away, if we've got some things that we are looking at, then I would be okay with taking some Cubs bats. But right now, I'm probably leaning a little more towards Washington bats if I'm leaning anywhere at all. Not necessarily going to use them at all. It just really depends on if the weather does hold up and if the lineups come out and we kind of like that a little bit better. Then the final game on the early slate, San Diego at Tampa Bay. You got Taj Bradley versus Martin Perez. Bradley, 3.77 ERA. Splits-wise, we look at this. When he's at home, he's got a 2.83 ERA, so he has been better at home. Game logs, the problem is he has not done anything with that. Dodgers, 5 earned runs. Oakland, 3 earned runs. Houston, 6. St. Louis, 5. Miami, 4. Like, it's been July 25th, it's been over a month since he's had a good game. Now, San Diego can hit righties as well, and this was exactly what we're going to see when we dig into this game a little bit. And this is exactly why I love using Outlier, because when you look at this, maybe you're like, oh, they should hit lefties better because, blah, 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 these guys are in their lineup. But then you break it down. This is what I like. So you can see no one's faced him before. Right-handed. And just what I talked about. As you can see, this entire lineup hits righties better, except for Profar. Profar still has 13 bombs against right-handed pitching. So then you know that consistently this year, San Diego has smashed righties. Couple that with Taj Bradley has not really done much this year. I would stack San Diego here. I would look at Cronenworth with 14 bombs, Machado with 16 bombs, Jackson Merrill batting .316 with 14 bombs. Then those would be my main 3. Then it'll depend on the lineup that comes out. Maybe you want to go Donovan Solano with 306 batting average, or maybe you do want to go Profar, 13 bombs with 269 batting average. David Peralta would be a cheap option. The catching would be a cheap option. Luis Ariz is there. Not getting a ton of power from him, so that's the only downside. So looking at this, I would avoid Taj Bradley. I would look at San Diego as a stack here. And then Martin Perez, 4.51 ERA. He has not faced Tampa Bay this year. Has not really done much his last 2 starts. Did really well first couple of starts for San Diego after getting traded. So then we can dig in just a little bit. Tampa Bay bats against Martin Perez. You got Yandy Diaz batting .400 with a home run. That's it for home runs. Against left-handed power, Diaz, 336 batting average. Brandon Lau, 315 batting average. Dylan Carlson, 214. Jose Siri, 213 with 5 bombs. Again, Tampa Bay's offense has been very meek this year. I don't love Martin Perez. I don't know if I'll have any exposure. Maybe tournaments because of how bad Tampa Bay is. But I'm honestly not looking at Tampa Bay bats really at all. In this game, I would definitely be stacking San Diego bats there for sure. So now we are into the main slate. We've got 10 games we're going to go over. St. Louis at New York. You got Eric Fetty versus Marcus Stroman. Obviously, Stroman has faced this team in the past. Stroman being with the Cubs last year. And then Eric Fetty overall was against the players that are on this team had like a 380 batting average against them. We can kind of look. Using Outlier, you can kind of look. So Stroman has not faced them before. He has struggled at home, though. If you look at Stroman's splits, his home splits 5.09 ERA compared to 2.70 on the road. Game logs, he did just have a decent game for him at home. Only went 5 innings. The strikeouts are low. The walks are there. That's the problem. Gave up 3 earned runs to Colorado. They did win that game 10-3, but he didn't really do much at 7,600 with 14.5 fantasy points. He has not. What you're looking for on DraftKings, at least a minimum of 20 fantasy points is what you would kind of shoot for with your pitcher. He has not hit value since June 22nd. That's where I'm I'm off. He's been worse at home. That's where I'm probably fading him. And then Eric Fetty going here. Game log wise, or splits, obviously he hasn't faced the Yankees this year. When he's on the road, he's got a 431. The Yankees do hit righties better. Overall, we can dig in a little bit. You can look at Yankees bats against Fetty. Stanton, what is that? 6 for 7? Or 5 for 7? Whatever it is. Got a home run against him. Stanton's been heating up. Gleyber Torres leading off. He's got a home run against him. I love Gleyber here. Jazz has 2 home runs against him. Judge hasn't really done much, but the way Judge is hitting, I know Soto's kind of in a slump right now. So if you don't want to pay up for Soto, I get that, but he's one swing away from getting back on there. So we're looking at a Yankee stack, some sort of Gleyber at the top, Judge, Soto, but I might take away Soto and maybe go Stanton today. Volpe might be coming back strong as well. So Jazz Chisholm's another one that I would look at. God forbid they just release or sit DJ LeMahieu. There's zero reason why LeMahieu should be in this lineup batting. No reason whatsoever. They just lost the series to Washington. They're back home. This is a great bounce-back game for them. I love the game here. Then we look at St. Louis bats against Stroman. Goldie's batting .417 with 3 bombs against him. He's my number 1 for Cardinals if I'm using that. Mason Wynn's batting .303. Burleson's batting .302. You got Nootbaar batting .233 with 8 bombs. You got Arenado with .285 batting average, 10 home runs. Ivan Herrera would be a cheap catching option today. .287 batting average with 2 home runs as well. So I'm avoiding pitching in this one. I would go bats, a little bit more on the Yankees bats, but I do not mind St. Louis. Pittsburgh at Cleveland, you got Ben Lively versus Bailey Falter. Now the problem is there is weather concern here. Lively has not faced Pittsburgh this year. When he's pitching at home, he's got a .334. So I don't mind some of these Pittsburgh bats. I would definitely look at O'Neal Cruz. You could look at Brian Reynolds. You could look at, let's see, a couple others we'll look at against Ben Lively. Really haven't seen much. I mean, Rowdy Tellez would be a cheap option. IKF could be a cheap option there with 7 bombs. You could look at Brian De La Cruz with 15 bombs. I don't mind. I don't mind them. Cleveland bats against Bailey Falter have not faced him, but we see that J. Ram's batting .353 against left-handed pitching with 12 bombs. Schneemann batting .357. You got Stephen Kwan batting .323. You got Lane Thomas batting .300. I don't mind these guys. Josh Naylor might be another one. David Fry is another one. So I am not using the pitching in this one. I am using the stacks. I like Cleveland a little bit more, but you could go a sneaky little Pittsburgh stack. Again, though, weather is concerned. Let's pay attention there. And I did forget to mention, towards the end of this video, I will put out a keyword or key phrase. All you got to do is type that key phrase in there. If you were the winner, you will win a free month, the second of 5 free months of Outlier.bet. Brought to you by Outlier.bet and FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. So we got Oakland at Texas next. You got J.P. Sears versus John Gray. Sears coming in. He has not done. I mean, he hasn't done bad. He's got 2 dubs against Texas this year. 12 innings pitched, 4 earned runs, 8 strikeouts. So a lot of things we are looking at there. I don't mind that at all. Cheaper option at 70. Well, he's gone up a little bit, 7,900. You've got game splits when he's on the road. He is a little bit better, 404 batting average. Game logs coming off not a good game against Milwaukee. Give up 7 runs, 5 of them earned, but a good game against San Francisco. For tournaments, I'm okay with. I think a lot of people are going to be on Texas because it's Texas, but he's actually held his own there. John Gray, game log wise, bad game against Cleveland, bad game against Pittsburgh, bad game against Toronto. Like, he has not done much since coming back. I'm off of him. He's had success against Oakland, but I think I'd rather just take a flyer and fade the pitching in this one and go bats, just complete bats, if I'm even focusing on this game at all. So if we are looking at Oakland bats against John Gray, Seth Brown has a home run, but batting 182. But then you dig in, use an outlier, you dig in and look at which bats do better against right-handed pitching. So Langeliers with 17 bombs, Giloff with 14, you got Bleday with 12, Brown with 11, Butler with 13, Brent Rooker batting 286 with 22 bombs. I do not mind an Oakland stack here. I think they might go more under-owned than maybe we think. Then Texas bats overall, like Robbie Grossman has a home run. Simeon has 2 home runs, batting .316. Duran has batting .455. Seager only batting .154. But against left-handed pitching this year, Seager's got 6 bombs. Honestly, I think people are going to be on Texas. I think J.P. Sears, for a little bit of salary relief, I would use him against Texas strictly as a tournament-only pick and feel pretty good about that, where I think we're going to get a little bit leg up on the field there. Mets at the White Sox, Tyler Meagle versus Jonathan Cannon. Weather concern yet again. So Meagle going in here, going up against the White Sox, but they just recalled him after getting sent down. He was basically month down. Hasn't done much, though, lately. That's the problem. Splitswise has not faced the White Sox this year. Pitching on the road, has an 8.31 ERA. This is where I'm probably fading Meagle, and we could maybe make a little bit of splash with some sort of White Sox stack, which would be a cheap stack here. Jonathan Cannon, though, really hasn't done much either. I'm probably looking at the bats in this one. There's no reason why we need to look at pitching the way these two pitchers have been and the matchup. It will depend on this weather. So if we are looking at these Mets bats here, obviously Pete Alonso with 19 bombs, Lindor with 17. I don't mind him. Nimmo with 14 bombs. Jesse Winker will be a little bit cheaper option, batting .266 with 11 bombs. I don't mind him. Francisco Alvarez does hit righties better. I'm okay with him as well. Then we look at White Sox bats. Against Meagle, not much. 6 total at-bats. They don't do very well, but I would still, if you want to get a little creative, Andrew Vaughn, Gavin Sheets. You could look at Benintendi a little bit. You could look at Corey Lee, Michael Underowned. There's not like a ton, though. Like, I don't love many other ones. So I might go with those guys if you want to get a little crazy. And this is if you make, 20-plus lineups. Get the White Sox in at least one of those stacks, just in case. Now, again, we got to monitor the weather because just don't know what the weather's going to do. Kansas City at Houston is next. You got Framber Valdez versus Seth Lugo. Valdez here did lose the game against Baltimore. Went 5.2 innings, 3 earned runs with 8 Ks, but didn't last into the game. Had 104 pitches into the 6th. 18.6, not enough. Obviously, his price is now $9,500, going up against a Kansas City team that smashes lefties. Looking at this, he has not faced Kansas City this year, and pitching at home does have a 2.96 ERA. So, in theory, I'm okay with that, but I think his price might be up too much for me. Then Lugo coming in, has faced Houston once this year, 6 innings, 2 earned runs, only 2 strikeouts. The strikeouts were low. That's the problem. He had the 8 strikeout game against LA, but had 3, 4, 4, 3 like that. They've been really low. His price, 3.19 ERA. I'm probably just focused on the bats. Obviously, the bats that I like for Kansas City today, Bobby Witt Jr., as long as he's in this game, on fire. Salvador Perez, great here. And then you look against left-handed pitching. Perez batting .313 with 8 bombs. You got Bobby Witt batting .356 with 4 home runs against lefties. You got Freddie Fermin you could look at if he's a cheap option. Pasquantino I would look at. Couple of cheaper options, Darren Blanco, 328 batting average, 3 home runs. I don't mind him. I think he'll be a little bit cheaper. Michael Garcia, 252 batting average with 2 home runs. I do not mind him either. Houston bats against Lugo. Not a ton of success. Basically one. Alvarez does have a home run. He's been on fire. Yainer Diaz I would look at. Bregman with 15 bombs. Whitcomb batting .350 and 20 at-bats. Mauricio Dubon batting .258. Ben Gamel might be a cheap option, batting .293 against right-handed pitching, or even possibly a John Singleton with 10 bombs, batting .255. So I'm avoiding both of the pitchers in this one just because of how expensive they are, and just the matchup is not ideal for them. Toronto at Minnesota is next. You got Gausman versus Pablo Lopez. So we look at Gausman here. Very up and down, but Minnesota doesn't hit righties as well as they do hit lefties. So that's always a plus. That kind of the thing you want to see just a little. So Gausman coming in, game log wise, a great game against LA. We used him in that game. 7 innings, 10 strikeouts. Absolutely smashed because LA, they're terrible. He's already faced Minnesota once this year. The problem, he only lasted 3 innings, 6 earned runs, but did have 6 strikeouts. Kind of looking at splits, we see his home games, is worse at home for whatever reason, and I'm trying to see if that was at home or in Minnesota. That game was at home versus them, and he did not have success. Now, at 8,800, I'm okay with that. I would rather pay 8,800 than 91 for Lugo or 95 for Valdez. I would be okay with that in that instance. And then Pablo Lopez, looking at this, 4.26 ERA, coming off a fantastic start against St. Louis. Has not faced Toronto this year, pitching at home. Does have a 4.43 ERA, so he has been worse at home. Although outside of a couple of batters, like Toronto's not done very well. Against Lopez, no one's hit a home run. Right-handed pitching, though, they do hit right-handed pitching. So Vladdy batting 322 with 21 bombs. You got Ernie Clement with 7. I love George Springer leading off. If he's up the leadoff spot, he's got 16 bombs, batting 227. Dalton Varsho only batting 198, but he's been on fire with hits. So if you want a sports bet, Dalton Varsho 1+ hit or Dalton Varsho over 1.5 bases, I'm okay with that as well. If you're still looking at a stack, Spencer Horwitz, I'm okay with. Addison Barger, 212 batting average, 5 bombs. I'm okay with that. I don't love it. Very cheap option would be Joey Loperfido, batting 237 with 3 home runs. Minnesota bats against Gossman. You got Vasquez with a home run. You got Santana with a home run. You got Kepler with a home run. Against right-handed pitching, like Miranda batting 329 with 7 bombs. Willie Castro batting 257 with 7 bombs. Vasquez does better. Trevor Larnach, 262 batting average with 14 bombs. Matt Wallner with 9. It'll really come down to which Gossman are we going to get. Are we going to get the Gossman that has done well, like last start? Or are we going to get the Gossman? And Minnesota overall, they hit lefties a little bit better. I might, if I'm making multiple lineups, I'll have Gossman a little bit. But I could see a Minnesota stack being a kind of a sneaky stack today. Baltimore at Colorado. So it's going to be hard to get these bats in because it's in Colorado. So Suarez is not. So he did pitch Saturday, so it would be his shot. Didn't do anything really against Houston. 3 Ks in that game. He has not faced Colorado. He's a little bit cheaper because it is Colorado. Tournaments, I'm okay with that. But again, on the road, he's been worse, and this is Coors. That does scare me. So I'm probably avoiding the pitching in this one. And then you got Gomber, who didn't really do much against the Yankees. Good game at Washington. Splits-wise, when he's on the road, he's worse than at home, but he still has a 4.42. Baltimore bats in Colorado are going to be extremely expensive no matter where you go. The bats, both sides will be. I'm probably fading pitching, except for maybe I'll go Suarez for tournaments. Maybe. But Baltimore bats against lefties. Adley Rutschman bat 342 is going to be very expensive. Eloy Jimenez batting 260. Ramon Urias batting 264 with 3 bombs. Santander in this ballpark batting 222 with 11 bombs. I do not mind them. But we might be priced out on them, just the fact of how expensive these bats would be. If you're not going Suarez and you're looking at Colorado bats, not a ton. Like Tovar batting 285 with 14 bombs. Tolei, 12 home runs. Brenton Doyle with 17 home runs, batting 271. Jake Cave, 285 batting average, 7 home runs. Blackman has 8 home runs. I'm okay with these guys. I just don't know how feasible paying up for these bats at Coors unless we find that value pitching overall, because when Coors has a game and there's a really good team like Baltimore going into it, the bats are really good. They have a great matchup. They're so high priced, it's almost impossible to feel comfortable trying to price those guys up. So maybe I'll try a stack there, but it really just depends on if we think we can find any other value in pitching today. On a slate like this, it might be kind of hard to find something like that. So I'm probably, there's just other options. I might be avoiding the game in this one, or the game overall, and just going a different direction for today, just because there are different options we can look at today. Next game, we got Seattle at the Angels. But before we get to this game, the key phrase of the day, in all capital letters, we love outlier.bet. type we love outlier.bet into there and have a chance to win a free month of outlier.bet. Again, we love outlier.bet. Okay, so Seattle at the Angels is the next game. It's George Kirby, and it is not, we don't know who LA is going to be pitching yet. I believe it's going to be Carson Fulmer. According to Baseball Savant, it will be Carson Fulmer, which he will be in a good spot for pitches to be crazy because Seattle strikes out the most. But we don't have a guaranteed yet. He did last pitch on Saturday. Let's see. Yeah. So he last pitched against Toronto, against Bowden Francis, who dominated. So it should be his turn to pitch. He has already faced Seattle twice this year. 6.1 innings in one game started with 9 strikeouts. So if it is in fact him, I do not mind him at 7,000 because of how bad the Seattle is. So if it is in fact Carson Fulmer, I am okay with him at this price of 7,000. Putting him at 7,000 might, if it is confirmed, might help us get some of those Baltimore or Colorado bats in Coors if we're going that low. But again, Seattle can hit bad pitching. Carson Fulmer overall, outside of that, still has a 4.15 ERA. I was just trying to think. I'm pretty sure Detmer's got sent down, right? No, yeah. It's so weird because he just had a no-hitter not long ago. Now he's in AAA. So not 100% confirmed, but once it is confirmed, we will update our projections. We'll update everything on the site. Then we got George Kirby going up. He's got a great matchup here against the Angels. Again, the Angels are a bad team. He's already faced them once this year. Did get the loss. Only gave up 2 runs, one of them earned, but had 7 strikeouts. So if the Mariners can hit Carson Fulmer here, George Kirby could line up. He is very expensive though, $9,800. Really didn't do anything in San Francisco. He really hasn't hit the value we've needed since July 26th against the White Sox. You're supposed to against the White Sox. That's my only problem. He almost got it against Pittsburgh. We need 20. 19.9 is okay. He could bounce back against this game. I do not mind paying up $9,800 for George Kirby. Bats in this one, if it is in fact both of these guys, probably would still look at Seattle bats over Carson Fulmer. Luke Raley has a home run. Against right-handed pitching this year, Rojas 7 bombs. You got Justin Turner with 6 bombs. Arozarena only batting .211 but has 11 home runs. You got Luke Raley with 14 bombs and had success against him. Mitch Haniger there, .230 batting average, 9 home runs. Cal Raleigh, the big dumper, would not be surprised if he goes yard, boomstick shot, boom bastic today. 226 batting average, 16 home runs. I do not mind a Seattle stack there. I am not looking at the Angels really at all. I am fading the Angels. I might go Carson Fulmer for a tournament pick, but that is basically it. Then you got the Dodgers at Arizona. You got Clayton Kershaw versus Zach Gallen. Gallen has faced the Dodgers once this year. Only went 4 innings, 3 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, 3 walks. Really wasn't enough. That was back on July 4th. Had 85 pitches. Okay. That was his second start coming off the IL. And it kind of been a downhill trend outside of a couple of starts. Really good game against Boston. They struck out a ton, 9 times. We look at that. I don't know if I can trust Zach Gallen, especially against this Dodgers team. Obviously, we want to go Ohtani, Freeman, Mookie Betts, Max Muncy. I'm probably staying away from Gallen and stacking the Dodgers. And then the game logs here. Kershaw really, 8,500 going up against Arizona, 4.7 fantasy points against a bad Tampa Bay team, gave up 5 earned runs in that game. Arizona hits lefties, and we're going to look at that right now. Arizona bats against Kershaw. You got Josh Bell with a home run. You got Corbin Carroll batting .571 with 2 bombs. You got Randall Grichuk with 1 home run. But then we look at the left-handed pitching, or left-handed bats. Kevin Newman would be a cheap option batting .290 with a home run. Eugenio Suarez I would look at with 5 bombs. Corbin Carroll I would still look at. Doesn't do well against lefties, but big grand slam 2 nights ago. 2 home runs that night. Kershaw he's had success against. He just sees something against Kershaw and knows what to do. Grichuk is a great, cheap outfield option if he bats. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. this year batting .336 with 6 bombs against left-handed pitching. Then you got Jake McCarthy batting .327. No home runs, but has an .810 OPS up against left-handed pitching. So just because of how expensive Clayton Kershaw is, I'm fading pitching in this one. I could see this be a high-scoring game. Wait for the over-unders to come out, but I definitely could see this being a high-scoring game. I'm fading both pitching. I'm looking at stacks in this one. Obviously, Dodgers get a little bit more edge because they're a better team, but I could see Arizona putting up a ton of runs as well. And then Miami at San Francisco, we've got Blake Snell versus Adam Oller. Oller, splits-wise, obviously has not faced, not much. That's the problem. So just like looking at Oller, 5.23 ERA, I don't like that. Game logs, I mean, he really good game against the Cubs, so he started twice. 5.2 innings is okay. I mean, he does have a matchup here against San Francisco in San Francisco at the price of $6,900. I think we have to at least take a little bit of a flyer on him because he's cheaper. He allows you to pay up at other positions. He's in a great pitching ballpark, a massive ballpark here in San Francisco. San Francisco overall, and we're going to look at how they do, has not pitched on the road, so that's the only X factor we don't know about. But all at 6,900, I'm okay with that in this ballpark. But then you got Blake Snell. Problem with Blake Snell, we paid up $10,000 for him. He only gave up 200 runs, which was great. He only lasted 3 innings because he had 6 walks. So I believe those walks, he walked into those 2 runs in the first inning, I think. Southpaw needed 74 pitches to record only 9 outs in the shortest outing. Snell hasn't walked more than 3 batters and blah, blah, blah. I believe, without looking, I think that's what was up. Does have a great matchup here against Miami. The only problem is, hopefully it's not a downhill, but you can see he absolutely dominated all the way through. Got in trouble against Seattle. So that's why we loved him, because his price was up there. It wasn't $11,000. It was against the team that strikes out the most. The problem, though, he did have 5 strikeouts in 3 innings, but he had 6 walks, and that's why he was taken out. As long as he can limit the walks, I love this matchup for him. He is 10,000, so he has gone up 100, which is wild. But yeah, I don't mind Blake Snell. I don't mind Adam Oller. Then we look at the bats. So just kind of looking at the bats. Overall, the Miami team against Blake Snell, they really haven't seen him. Left-handed pitching, as you can see, the majority of them hit righties better. You see a ton of red. If you think Blake Snell is going to do nothing and you think he's going to get dominated, the bats I would look at, obviously Jake Berger's one I would look at. I would look at Derek Hill as a cheap option, Christian Pache as a cheap option, maybe Connor Norby as a cheap option. But I personally like Blake Snell in that situation. And then Adam Oller here. Yeah, I mean, Lamont Wade has a home run, and that's it. Against right-handed pitching, as you can see, they hit lefties better. If you were to take, let's say we don't want to go with Oller and we want to go with San Francisco bats, Lamont Wade has had success against them. I'm okay with him. Elliot Ramos batting .246 with 11 bombs. McRae with 3. To be fair, Tyler Fitzgerald, .265 batting average, 9 home runs. Matt Chapman, .229 batting average, or .238 batting average with 16 bombs. Patrick Bailey, .245 batting average with 7 home runs. Maybe use them, but honestly, I kind of like Adam Oller for a very cheap option, and I love Blake Snell here against Miami. So we look at that overall. Yeah, you can just see pitching-wise, the ones that are confirmed, it's going to be weird because all the LA Angels aren't there. So it's kind of weird in that situation. But, I don't mind Oller at 6,900. I wouldn't go down to Gray. I wouldn't go to Gomber. Maybe Suarez, but again, it's in Coors. That does scare me a little bit. I don't trust Falter. I don't trust Cannon. I don't trust Fetty. JP Sears maybe at 7,900. And then, yeah, so, I will pay up for Snell. I will pay up for Kirby. I don't know if I want to pay up for Valdez. I'm not paying up for Lugo today. Gossman's more of a tournament option for me. I don't really trust Kershaw or Gallen. So with as many pitchers as there are in 10 games, not a ton that I trust right now. And we do have a couple of weather concerns too. So there you have it. That is the breakdown of the early slate. That is the breakdown of the main slate. We've already done the keyword. If you have not heard the keyword, go back and find it so you have a chance to win a free month of outlier.bet. Now, I'm going to do Pitches Be Crazy in the Discord because I'm not 100% sure. Not all the pitchers are confirmed yet. But if they were confirmed, it would be Carson Fulmer, number 1, versus Seattle. Seattle strikes out the most. Colorado would be Albert Suarez. The next one would be the pitcher against Boston, which is in the early slate. Off the top of my head, I can't recall yet. If we were to look real quick, and I'll confirm this once all of the pitchers have been confirmed. We'll put this into the MLB DFS channel over there. So definitely make sure you check it out. They think it's going to be Casey Mize. Again, not 100% sure if it's going to be Casey Mize. So that's kind of what we're waiting on. The next one would be Cleveland. Again, it would be Ben Lively against Pittsburgh, who strike out the 4th most. And the 5th most, Tampa Bay, strikes out the 5th most out of any team right now. And that would be up to... Who is facing Tampa Bay? San Diego, which they think is going to be Martin Perez. Is not 100% confirmed yet. So again, Fulmer, Albert Suarez, Casey Mize. Again, we are not all confirmed yet for sure. So let's kind of wait on that. But now we're going to give you the top bats out of 10 out of 10 matchups. So these will change. These are very early. These are initial simulations. We've got number 1, Aaron Judge versus Eric Fetty. Number 2 is JD Martinez versus Cannon. 3 is Alec Burleson. 4 is Bryce Harper. 5, Jorge Soler. 6, Juan Soto. 7, Brendan Donovan. 8, Yordan Alvarez. 9, Gio Urshela. 10, Tommy Pham. 11, Orlando Arcia. So the early ones, like a couple of the New York Yankee bats, like a few of the St. Louis bats, Atlanta bats also make their way in there. And I do not mind if you look at the other ones that are like top 15 overall. I like the Mets as a stack as well. But we'll have all of this information on the cheat sheet and the Discord. We'll have the core plays. We'll have the stacks that we like. We'll have a ton of information on the website. So make sure you go check out FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. MLB tab is there. Check that out. NFL content is already coming through. We've got defensive picks, so just a couple of tier picks from one of our. We have a new, a longtime viewer on this channel has now started to write some content for us. So definitely give some debonair some love. Go check out the article. All the clicking on the article, the clicking on the ads. Definitely helps out the channel. Definitely helps out the website. Definitely helps boost his esteem as well. So we're also going to have that. Then sometime either this weekend if I find some time or early next week, I'm going to start putting out the NFL content. So if you look at the NFL tab, got volume report, which it's going to be all of 2023 because we don't know the volume yet. So that might not be able to be updated. But we got snap counts, which also can't. Red zone stats. But we've got projected ownerships we're going to be looking at. We've got player projections, points allowed. We've got Vegas odds, obviously the cheat sheet. So if we look at the cheat sheet, now this is from the conference championship. If it loads, I might need to refresh this overall. So I'm not 100% sure. But we're going to have the articles come out for all of the rankings for week 1. And then I'm going to do a video on the rankings. We used to do just like one video or like 5 videos, 1 for each position, but I might not be doing that. But we've got like main slate for FanDuel, divisional round. So we've got the players, we've got their DVP, FanDuel projections, and our bacon ratings for each position. We do that. We do main slate for DK. We do Thursday Night Football Showdown. We do Thursday Night Football for FanDuel, Saturday Night Football. But this year will be main slates. We'll have, we are going to just hit it out of the park. This year, we're going to hit a 90-yard field goal for NFL. We're going to do Thursday Night Showdown videos. We're going to do the Friday Night Showdown. We're going to do Sunday Night Football Showdown and Monday Night Football Showdown. So once we get a couple of, we're going to go through all of that. Those videos will be there. So if you have not already subscribed to this channel, do that and hit the bell notification so you guys know when we get the video out there for you. I want to help you guys bring home the bacon. I want to bring home the bacon with you guys. That's basically it. So check out NFL content. Check out MLB content. We are done. Good luck today. And as always, bring home that bacon. Peace.